At SXM, we're taking travel and tourism to new heights. Here we boast spacious check-in areas, 10 passport control points, comfortable departure lounges, and an exciting new airport mall. Finally, there's an airport in the Caribbean that takes your travel plans as seriously as you do. Princess Juliana International Airport. The experience will move you.
Welcome to the Late Night Show. Hope everything is okay. Hope everything is all right. I'm your host, Andrew Dick. Okie dokie, kids. What's happening on the lovely island of St. Martin? We begin with the news of the formation process. It continues. I know people are a bit anxious. I'm getting some questions as to, Andrew, when is this new government taking office? And you know, we here at the Late Night loves the continuity of people being interested in our political process, especially after the elections take place, because usually what takes place is that election time, everybody is a political analyst, and then as soon as election is over, they're just like, they don't care too much about it anymore. But then there are some that are still a bit interested as to this wonderful system we have. So let me give you a breakdown of the situation when it comes to this government, whether the new one is in charge, is the old one in charge, what happens now with the ministers, why are they still ministers, why are they sent home, why are they still making decisions, didn't we have elections, why is it the same thing happening over and over? Let's start back with giving you a breakdown of an election that took place in January, right? In January, we had elections for the Parliament of St. Martin. It was a parliamentary elections. The members of Parliament, 15 members, were sworn in from 6 parties. You have the United People's Party, the National Alliance, right? And then we have the 2x4 group, which is the PFP, the URSM, the Democratic Party, and of course the No Party. So those 4 decided to come together to keep the 7 other members out, because you need 8 or more members in order for you to have majority in Parliament. So with that majority, rather slim, but still majority, they decided to appoint a new Council of Ministers based on the mandate that they have for the next 4 years. Now, the members of Parliament are right now, the majority is in charge. Hence the reason why we have Sarah Westcott Williams as the President of Parliament, right? You with me still? Then we have Melissa Gomes, who is the Vice Chair, and then we have Christophe Emmanuel, who is the second Vice, or the other way around. It doesn't matter, but they 3 make up the Presidium. So Sarah, Chris, and Melissa, right? So they are in charge of the Parliament of St. Martin. Majority is the 8 members, and they are fully going through. The governor, his role was to appoint a formateur. The formateur is that of Mr. Luc Mercelina, who is a member of Parliament representing the URSM, and he is the one that has to put the names up for screening when it comes to the new Council of Ministers. Now, because the screening process takes a while, the ministers that are presently there, so from the UP and the National Alliance, already submitted their resignations from since the election results came out.
Fired! You can't fire me, I quit! You can't quit, I quit! You can't quit, you're a frog! You can't frog me, you're my wife! I'm not your wife, you're my wife! Oh, hey, honey, how was work? Pretty good, but I quit my job! You can't quit your job, you're fired! Ah!
So, they gave their resignation, therefore meaning that they become a demissionary cabinet. the missionary, that's the word, meaning caretaker. So all of them become caretakers. Now, yes, the governor could have accepted them and send them a national decree stating that they're officially dismissed and they could go home and some could go back to Parliament. However, because government is about continuity, they were asked to stay on until the new ministers come in. Now, as soon as the screening process for 1, 2, or more ministers are completed, the governor would then swear in these good members of parliament or individuals that will make up the Luke Mercelina Cabinet 1. Yes? So, that means that as soon as that takes place, the ministers who are caretakers will then officially receive their dismissal letter, the decree from the governor, and then the governor would then send the ass home. So they would vacate their offices, the cabinet members will leave, and then the new ministers will automatically just smooth in as soon as they take the oath. The reason why I say 1, 2, or more is because sometimes, not all the time, the governor likes to, or I should say the formateur or the majority of parliament would want the ministers to go in as an entire council of ministers, because you can imagine, for example, if Luke Mercelina, he passes screening already. If he gets sworn in as prime minister, he will be, Sylvia Jacobs would then go to parliament, so she will no longer be the prime minister, the caretaker prime minister, and Luke Mercelina would be the prime minister, right? So everybody would go like, oh yeah, but that's good. No, because Anna Elaine Richardson, Rudolph Samuel, Artwell Irion, Minister of Everything Omar Otley, the Leo Lambrix, all those ministers will still be there. So look at the awkward situation in the next Council of Ministers meeting where Luke going to say, yes, it's very good that we get rid of all those national and alliance and up ministers who are parasites. And all of them going to be like, we still here, look, and you're going to need our vote in order for you to execute what you want to do. So therefore, suck it, I'm not giving you my vote. Because they're still acting members of the Council of Ministers. Hence the reason why what usually happens is 2, 3, 4 ministers, as soon as they finish their screening, they get sworn in by batch, and then they go in, the outgoing ministers would then leave, and then you'll have double portfolios until all the ministers are completed for the Luke Cabinet, the Luke Mercelina Cabinet 1. I hope that was a good explanation so that you can understand the process. So there is no end date. It could happen tomorrow, it could happen on Friday, it could happen a week from now, a month from now, because the screening takes time, but they do want a batch of ministers to go. Because if they do one, you'll have a conflict whereby the outgoing ministers will have members in the legislature, which is the parliament, and the whole idea is for them not to have any more power. Hence the reason why we had the elections, hence the reason why they do 8 members, hence the reason why they have a 2x4, meaning the 4 parties and not the 6 parties. It's not a broad-based government, it's a 2x4. It's 4 parties that are supposed to be controlling the Council of Ministers, not all 6. So if you have a mixed batch of ministers, it's only going to be chaos. All right, hope that was clear. Now, today, Monday, they had a meeting of Parliament, an urgent meeting that is, and it was a question called by the very rookie MP, Shamira Roseberg. Now, she started today, and for some reason, she's not familiar yet with the lingo of Parliament, because she was talking directly to the minister, and that's a no-no. You have to go through the chair. So you're supposed to say, you know, Madam Chair, through you, Minister, X, Y, and Z. Did you do this? Did you do that? Justice workers, why you didn't pay them yet? What's going on with their batches? What's going on with their Landsbesleuth, which is the national decrees? What's going on? So, but she keep on forgetting to mention Madam President or Madam Chair. She got to get used to it, so we're not going to knock on it, but we're still going to mention it so that because she watches the late night, so I know for sure she's never going to make that mistake again because she don't like to get called out. So it's okay. You just reach, you're a rookie, I get it. You know how to be a lawyer, but to be an MP is a whole different ball game. Yes, I shit in on all new members today because we got to break you in so that you know what's going on and you don't make those mistakes. So, without further ado, your highlights of today's meeting.
Good afternoon, members of Parliament. I want to welcome you to this public meeting number 12, a question hour for today, Monday, February 26th. I want to take this opportunity to give a special welcome to the Honorable Minister of Justice, Ms. Anna Richardson, and her entire support staff. And we have established a quorum of 10 members. Minister Anna Richardson was invited by email and by letter, and here the minister is with her support staff to respond to the questions which were submitted to her on behalf of MP Shamira Roseberg. So I would now want to give MP Roseberg the opportunity to read her questions to the minister. MP Roseberg, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair Lady, Secretary General, fellow members of Parliament. Is my on? Now? Yes.
Yes.
Fellow members of Parliament, Honorable Minister of Justice and her support staff. I have a few questions indeed. I will start. Honorable Minister of Justice, could you please clarify why the justice workers have not yet received their national decree? A debt calculation outlining outstanding amounts owed to the specific justice workers, updated compensation based on the revised function book, and I would like to know what are the factors contributing to the delay and where specifically are the bottlenecks in this process? When, and I'm referring to a specific date, can the justice workers expect to receive their documents as mentioned before? Also, I would like to know when the first phase, as mentioned in your press release of February 21st, will be finalized, also a specific date. Also, question number 4, the subsequent phases handling the retroactive payments between 10-10-10 and the 31st of December 2022. When will that be finalized? And I'm again referring to a specific date. And then also wondering in the interim, what short-term solutions are being considered to address the needs of the justice workers until the payment can commence. And this is to avoid any go slow or work to rule actions. Once the justice workers receive those documents, could you also outline the step-by-step process with time frame for the payout to occur? And then also would like to know if it's accurate that currently the ministry lacks sufficient manpower to draft the LBs, and would it maybe be feasible for each department in the Justice Ministry to contribute with personnel to speed up this process? That's in regards to the justice workers in general. How much time I still have? Done? Okay.
At this time, the MP who posed the question, so MP Roseberg, has the opportunity to once more ask additional questions, and also for a maximum of 2 minutes, albeit that I think, but MP Roseberg, you would have been better able to follow that. The minister might have gone into some of the questions that were asked as your additional questions. But now you still have the opportunity to ask additional questions for a maximum of 2 minutes. MP Roseberg.
Thank you for that. Yes, I'm confused with the red versus green. Thank you for that, Madam Chair. Thank you for the explanation, Minister of Justice. I'm wondering, are you currently getting enough support from the Ministry of Finance? Because I'm seeing a lot of back and forth, but are you getting the support needed of what is lacking if you're not getting the support? I also understood, based on the articles that I've read, that there are about 700 national decrees to be processed. And I also read that the plan is to have like a minimum of 25 a week. So if I calculated correctly, it can take over 7 to 9 months to process it. So is that the plan, or is it the idea of creating a bigger group available to process this matter so that the police workers or the justice workers can get their payment as is due to them? Other than that, I didn't hear, but maybe I didn't, it went very fast, in connection to question number 5, what is the short-term solution to address this matter, to avoid the go-slow actions and the work to rule, because we have been seeing that happening a lot in the past few weeks, seeing the current position of the justice workers. And last question, in regards to the custom officers, question 8E, what is the reason that there is no date of completion for the custom workers and their rechtspositielandverordening? So, because I understood that that you didn't answer, or you said there is no date of completion, if I had it correct. But please,
Thank you, MP Roseberg. Just a friendly reminder, in our communication with the ministers, it's via the chair, to the minister. So, at this time, the MP who posed the question, so MP Roseberg, has the opportunity to once more ask additional questions, and also for a maximum of 2 minutes, albeit that I think, but MP Roseberg, you would have been better able to follow that. The minister might have gone into some of the questions that were asked as your additional questions. But now you still have the opportunity to ask additional questions for a maximum of 2 minutes. MP Roseberg.
yes, I'm confused with the red versus green. Thank you for that, Madam Chair. Thank you for the explanation, Minister of Justice. I'm wondering, are you currently getting enough support from the Ministry of Finance? Because I'm seeing a lot of back and forth, but are you getting the support needed? Of what is lacking if you're not getting the support? I also understood, based on the articles that I've read, that there are about 700 national decrees to be processed. And I also read that the plan is to have like a minimum of 25 a week. So if I calculated correctly, it can take over 7 to 9 months to process it. So is that the plan, or is it the idea of creating a bigger group available to process this matter so that the police workers or the justice workers can get their payment as is due to them? Other than that, I didn't hear, but maybe I didn't, it went very fast, in connection to question number 5, what is the short-term solution to address this matter, to avoid the go-slow actions and the work to rule, because we have been seeing that happening a lot in the past few weeks, seeing the current position of the justice workers. And last question, in regards to the custom officers, question 8E, what is the reason that there is no date of completion for the custom workers and their rechtspositielandverordening? So, because I understood that that you didn't answer, or you said there is no date of completion, if I had it correct. But please,
Thank you, MP Roseberg. Just a friendly reminder, in our communication with the ministers, it's via the chair, to the minister. So, welcome. And Minister, I now give you the floor to respond to MP Roseberg. Additional questions, and of course, a minute for each answer.
Yes, thank you very much, Madam Chair. Lady, through you, I will respond. The relationship with the Ministry of Finance, I would like to be able to say that the relationship has always been a good one. It was just a matter of the fact that we worked together on the budget. And, I made an announcement that the 200 were complete. We did not know that an individual breakdown and print for each employee was going to be necessary. And so the fact that when we sent the LBAs and they were returned requesting that, it did take us a bit by surprise. Nevertheless, the communication between the staff finally did take place. That was ironed out. As I indicated, it does set us back because it requires more attention to printing specifically per staff. The next question is understood by the article that there are about 700. Yes, there is almost 800 employees. However, we are looking first in phase 1 at the 500 that are active staff. And over that, meaning if we have 25 LBAs per batch and 1 batch per week, that is 500 divided by 25, which is 20 batches. Hence the reason I indicated that when we calculated by the end of the second quarter, we should be done with phase 1. And we are seeking additional staff. If we get that, we expect that number to increase and be more expeditious, because ultimately our goal is to expedite the process. Didn't hear in connection with number 5, what is the short-term solution? The short-term solution is being able to get the staff that we need. As a matter of fact, we have indicated that the governor is currently handling a batch. They have agreed to expedite this process. So once we have LBAs being signed, and we have the belief that the template is in good order, and so the ability to roll these LBAs are in good standing. And one thing I want to point out, at the end of the day, we see the actions happening by the justice workers in a group. But when it comes to individuals and their money, they don't walk as a group. They want to hear and they want to see their numbers being accurate individually. And the moment that we mess that up, it's going to cause a problem. So whilst we understand there's an expeditious request, we are trying our best to do that, but we have to be very careful with people's money. And finally, your question said about the customs officers, what is the reason that there is no date of completion of their exposition? The interesting thing is that the Customs Department has a exposition. What they seek is for that exposition to be updated. And I have with me here with me is Attorney Brandon. And she is the attorney that is currently working with the unions and the customs officers. We have identified 5 individuals. I made mention that some meetings had been set. Unfortunately, those 5 members were not in attendance, so those meetings had to be rescheduled, and I'll be picking up that conversation with those members who have proposed themselves to assist with the review of the exposition and have it amended, but have not been present for the meetings that were scheduled by Attorney Brandon thus far. I don't know if that's all that yes, thank you.
I just have 2 simple questions through you, Madam Chair Lady, for the Minister. I have a question regarding the first initial batches that the Minister of Justice submitted. When exactly did you submit? I need the exact date that the first batches were submitted. And also, I'm still speaking with some justice workers, some in immigration, some in police. They still haven't received their placement. There's still a few that haven't received their placement letters as yet. Can you give me a summary of how many are still in the process of receiving their placement letters, and when would that be finalized? And I have one question: the staff that's involved with going over the 25 batches per week, are they staff that are part of your cabinet, or is there staff that is outside of the cabinet? I'm asking for continuity's sake. That's it. Thank you.
Madam Chair, I get the whole LBA discussion. I get that. I want to talk money. That's what I want to talk. And the reason why I want to have that discussion, Madam Chair Lady, is because I want to ask the Honorable Minister about the crime fund. Is it anywhere in the future are we looking to take this responsibility away from the OM? And here's the reason why I'm saying that. I was shocked with a publication that I've seen from the OM, that came out from the OM, about a separate account that is used, that is banked at Banco de Caribe for fines that doesn't go into government coffers. I don't know if you're aware of that, but going through the budget, I was shocked when I saw it there, that there's a separate account that is used for fines that goes to or is deposited at Banco de Caribe. I would like to know why it is we are not able to use both crime fund and this account to pay the necessary funds to the individuals, which is the police officers and the whole staff that is needing this money? Why can't we access this money? In addition to that, Madam Chair, I know my time is up, can we get a breakdown of that separate account that's at Banco de Caribe that is used for fines? I thank you very much.
Francisco La Cruz. MP La Cruz, you have the floor.
Madam Chair, Lady, through you, I ask the following questions to the Minister. The current budget for the personnel expenses in justice is estimated at 51 million guilders, and this is based on the 2023 budget. Can you, Minister, give us an idea of what will actually happen once everyone is placed? How much will this increase by 20, 30, 40, 50% after all the justice workers are actually in their correct scale and place? The second question, what legal basis exists for the signing of the LB if funding has not been secured to cover the costs? What plans does the government have to sustain both the increase in costs of personnel, as was before by my colleague, on the top of the retroactive payment, which are currently estimated at 4 million guilders per year, on average, a total of 40,000.
MP La Cruz, I just need to let you know that you only have 1 minute for the question and you're over the 1 minute. So if you could
just finish up this question?
Please.
Yep. Okay, and we just want to assure that the justice personnel are not being given false hope that the country can indeed afford it.
Now, hold on, Pete. La Cruz just spoke, and I think it's hilarious because La Cruz, MP La Cruz, came from the cabinet of Tiat. He's still supposed to, I don't know if he's still at the chief cabinet for Leo Lambrix or Minister of Tiat. I don't think so. Which is weird because he's supposed to still be there until... Anyway, this is a complicated process, okay? Anyway, you see him questioning the minister, right? Now, Sarah Westcott-Williams had a stun on him because La Cruz is still very, 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 very fresh and doesn't know procedure fully, because you notice that he thought that he could speak the whole time, and Sarah had to say, no, nigga, you only have 1 minute, wrap it up. And he had to, like a little boy, had to go like, yes, Madam Chair, sorry. It's nothing like Parliament that could humble you. And, you know, I think that over time he's going to get better because he has no choice. Otherwise, Auntie Sarah will be making fun of him all the time, because you need to know procedure in order to mess with MP Sarah Westcott-Williams. And with my good friend MP Rolando Bryson, former MP Rolando Bryson, not being there because he used to just go toe-to-toe with Auntie Sarah, the question is there anybody in Parliament that could go toe-to-toe with Auntie Sarah? The answer is no. Or you get shit. The moment you start to question the chair is going to make sure cut style on you based on the experience you have. Because there's nobody that knows procedure more than Auntie Sarah in the current Parliament makeup. And that is what makes this whole 2x4 very dangerous. It's the reason why she take President of Parliament. Because as President of Parliament, you get to tell people to shut up when they speak too much. You could correct them and they can't correct you. And you could just call a meeting whenever you want. Point blank, period. That's it. You can't do nothing about it. In any case, let's go back to the meeting where I think they closed after, but yeah, the rest of the meeting. I just wanted to give that little commentary.
And I therefore want to thank the Minister of Justice, Minister Anna Richardson, and her support staff for your participation in this meeting here today. Members of Parliament, I just want to remind you of the procedures for a question hour, if you feel the need to make use of it, and of course with the information provided, and of course the presentation of the answers that we got from the Minister, it is every member of Parliament's right to ask further questions directly to the Minister. based on anything that you have received as answers from the minister. So I want to thank you, members of Parliament, and with this we have come to the end of the question hour. I thank all for their participation, and I hereby close this meeting of Parliament. Meeting closed.
So, what have we learned? We have learned that the justice workers, it's going to take a while before they get their national degrees based on the fact that there are close to 800 persons that has to receive individual national degrees. That's a lot. So the incoming minister, the minister candidate, Lyndon Lewis, has some work to do. What's going to be sad is who's going to get the credit. The credit is going to be to Lyndon Lewis for some reason, because justice workers always have like a short memory. Doran, remember when you voted for him and he had the switcheroo on you when he get elected? Highest vote getter. Okay, I go into Brommy. Everybody was like, well, but I voted for you because I thought you would have continued the justice. Damn it, a politician fool us. You see the irony in that though, when I just say that? A politician fool us? Really? Anyway, when it comes to the dual system that we have now, it's going to be quite interesting. Why I say that is because imagine if this particular 2x4 call a minister to Parliament. So let's say you call Sylvia Jacobs, our caretaker Prime Minister, to Parliament. And she's also a member of Parliament, because she's a member of Parliament, she was elected as a member of Parliament, and she is still the caretaker minister. So you call her to answer questions when it comes to Telem and the layoff situation that's happening. She comes to Parliament, and you would literally have to go like, the 2x4 would have to be attacking Sylvia Jacobs, because of course they're going to blame Sylvia Jacobs and the UP for the hubaloo at Telep. And meanwhile, the 2x4 is the one who's supposed to be responsible for that shit right now. So you're supposed to be able to fix it, because you're the one who want to be in government. You're the one who making up the constellation now. And you saying that you're waiting for a minister is bullcrap, because you can instruct the government what to do, ask the Super 8, ask the 2x4, and basically say this is the wishes of the majority of Parliament. But in the meantime, we like to just call them ministers who are on their way out to do what exactly? You instructed them already not to make any type of decisions. So why are we having a meeting about it? So a meeting would look like where Sylvia Jacobs would come to Parliament, and you'll have the 2x4 members going like, yeah, so Minister, what's happening with Telem? You did a horrible job, and now people are getting laid off. And then Sylvia Jacobs could literally go like, okay, do something about it then. I ain't in government no more. I just hotten up the seat for you, so that your 2x4 ministers could come in and save the day. So, yeah. And then she could run across, go in a seat in Parliament, stand up and go like, Prime Minister Jacobs, I just want to let you know that you're doing a good job. And also the 2x4, they don't know what they're doing, because look how they had to call you to Parliament, but they're the one who form a majority in Parliament now. Why they just don't make a motion, and then in the motion, they could literally say, this is how we're going to fix it, prepare these things for me, so that when my minister come in, then I will do X, Y, and Z. And then she goes back to the other side where the ministers stand up, and she says, very good, MP Jacobs. That was a wonderful suggestion. Thank you so much. By the way, I love your shoes. They're looking very nice today. Yes, I agree with that wholeheartedly. Do something about it, bitches. Do something about it. Like, the dual system is amazing. They'll be going back and forth, talking to themselves through the chair. You see, Shamira? That's where the lesson comes full circle. You always talk to the chair, just like how I talking to a camera and Pete. Welcome to the Late Night Show. We have a good one for you. Let's begin.
How are you?
Hi, darling. I'm fine. Just calling to say hi.
Oh, okay. We got over here.
Girl, I hear watching this movie and it.
But Mom, you finished all your minutes yet?
No, girl. Talem has new postpaid plans and automatically upgraded my postpaid package.
Is that so?
Guess what? I am getting more minutes and almost double the amount of data for the same price.
I guess I'm making a switch now.
Let me call you back, Mom.
Hey Tash, you hear about Telem new postpaid plans?
Flashback time! Yes, let's go into a flashback.
Flashback. Listen.
Members of Parliament, Vice President of the Collectivité of Saint-Martin, Acting Vice Chair Lady of the Council of Advice, Chairman of the Audit Chamber, Ombudsman, Chairman of the Integrity Chamber, Griffier of Parliament, Chair Lady of the Central Voting Bureau, Chairman of the Electoral Council, Chief Public Prosecutor, Commander of the Marines Detachment on St. Martin, Representative of the Netherlands in Philipsburg, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning. Life is all about a delicate balance. Up and down, in and out, left and right, yin and yang. The task you are about to take up as parliamentarians is no different. More about the balance in a moment. First, about the task. On Thursday, January 11th of this year, 66% of the eligible voters of St. Martin exercised one of their fundamental constitutional rights, their right to vote. Representatives of the people have to cater to the people of this country, all the people of this country, so also those whose views you may not agree with. It is your responsibility to take into account and protect their views and them as well. That is why the general interest must be at the heart and core of all the decisions you individually and collectively make. And that is on both sides of the aisle. So whether you are in opposition or part of the majority supporting the government you are tasked with forming. That is why I use the word task here purposely. Because those that have voted for you, in doing so, have selected you to represent not only them, but to represent all of the people of this country, not just one group in particular, not just one ethnicity in particular, not just one particular lifestyle, not just believers, not just one religion in particular, but every single person. When you seriously think about it, you cannot help but realize what a daunting task that is. And yes, as a parliamentarian, with your individual vote, you have to decide for all of these groups and individual persons I have just mentioned. You have a free mandate So you do not represent your supporters, nor your voters, nor your party. You represent all the people of this country and only serve the general interest of the people of St. Martin. When you seriously think about it, you cannot help but to realize what a daunting task that is. You, and you alone, all 15 of you, are directly elected by the voters of St. Martin. Only you, as members of Parliament, have a direct electoral mandate and therefore direct democratic legitimacy. This makes you the anchor and heart of St. Martin's democracy. Did I already mention this was a daunting task? In your work as a co-legislator with government and with your task of keeping a check on that same government, you bear a special responsibility. That is a privilege and a burden. A privilege because together you are the bearers of the will of the people of St. Martin, but also a burden because it is expected of you, and rightfully so, that you will express the will you bear in a responsible manner and in a manner focused on the general interest of the people, and that you will put that will of the people into action 4 years long. But you did not get here alone. You were elected into this role as parliamentarian via a political party. You form part of a greater whole, a team, a support system. That support system can help guide your decision-making and ease the task upon your shoulders. This is where you start to see some of the balance mentioned earlier. Your individual vote, your free mandate, your individual vote, your free mandate as a parliamentarian, and the political party via which you were elected into Parliament. Your individual and collective responsibility of deciding in matters concerning individuals, groups, big business, small business, employers and employees, laws and liberties, and the like. Finding the delicate balance of all of these. So, elected members of Parliament, do not take your role lightly, because it is not one to take lightly. You have been entrusted with an enormous weight on your shoulders, an enormous responsibility, and we, the people of St. Martin, will be watching your movement and non-movement, motivation and silence, decision and non-decision, your presence and absence, whilst counting on you to the best of your ability, carry out and exercise this delicate act of balance with the lives and future of the people of our country. Sounds like quite a daunting task, right? Well, it is. But in addition to the support system I mentioned earlier, you also have guidelines as an aid in your task. Those guidelines stand on the tip of that point you have to balance on and are worded in the very oath you are about to take. 4 fundamental guidelines. 1, integrity. 2, allegiance. 3, the rule of law. 4, the general interest of the people of St. Martin. I swear declare that I have not given or promised anything to anyone whosoever, directly or indirectly, under any name or pretext whatsoever, in connection with me being elected as a member of Parliament, nor shall I do so. I swear, promise, that I shall not accept any pledge or gift of any description from any person whatsoever, directly or indirectly, in order to take or refrain from any action of any description in this position. Integrity. I swear, promise my loyalty to the King and the Charter for the Kingdom. Allegiance. that I shall always help to uphold the Constitution of St. Martin, the rule of law, and shall promote the well-being of St. Martin to the best of my ability, the general interest of the people of St. Martin. As I now proceed to invite you forward to take the oath, the final step required in order for you to be able to carry out your function as Member of Parliament. And in closing, if you remember nothing else that has been said this morning, remember the following. Although to politicians it may seem to always be about politics, politicking is not the end goal. The end goal is the prosperity of the people of St. Martin and serving the people of this country. It is said that health does not always come from medicine. Most of the time, it comes from peace of mind, peace in the heart, and peace in the soul. It comes from laughter and love. And to that, I say, stability does not always come from electoral reform. Most of the time, it comes from people in Parliament, people in government, people in general. It comes from integrity and love of St. Martin and its people. Congratulations once more to each and every one of you. Let us begin.
Ik zweer, verklaar dat ik nog onmiddellijk, onder welke naam of voorwendsel ook, in verband met mijn verkiezing tot lid van de Staten aan iemand wie hij, ook zij, iets heeft gegeven of beloofd, nog zal geven. Ik zweer, beloof, dat ik om iets hoegenaamd in deze betrekking te doen of te laten, van niemand hoegenaamd enige belofte of enig geschenk zal aannemen, middelijk of onmiddellijk. Ik zweer, beloof trouw aan de koning en het statuut van het koninkrijk, dat ik de staatsregeling van Sint Maarten steeds zal helpen onderhouden en het welzijn van Sint Maarten naar mijn vermogen zal voorstaan.
So truly help me, God Almighty.
That I declare and promise. Thank you very much.
That I declare and promise.
That I declare and promise.
So truly help me, God Almighty.
So truly help my God Almighty.
So truly help me God Almighty. So truly help me God Almighty.
Zo waarlijk help mij God Almachtig.
So truly help me God Almighty.
Dat verklaar en beloof ik.
That I declare and promise. That I declare and promise.
Members of Parliament, congratulations to each and every one of you. Congratulations to your friends and families. Congratulations to the people of St. Martin. And to all of you, much success, wisdom, and discernment in your task ahead. Cheers. 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 Cheers.
That is it for the late night show. Thank you so much for watching. Until tomorrow, do have a safe and pleasant one. Bye-bye.